Hey YouTube, Twig here, bringing you all my Yubel Neos Yu-Gi-Oh! Deck profile for Post Ghosts from the Past, the second haunting. With the release of the latest Yu-Gi-Oh! Ghosts from the Past, we were given new support to the Elemental Hero Neos deck in the form of Neos Kluger. This card helps us utilize Yubel in the actual Neos deck, one of Jaden's other ace cards along with Elemental Hero Neos, in the way I feel the card should have been used and not like Neos Wiseman, where you had to send both the cards on the field to the graveyard to summon out the effect monster, but this is more of a fusion that's more easily used in the deck since it can be summoned out with cards like Neos Fusion and other setup cards. So very happy with the results of the deck. Like I said, it helps to utilize both of Jaden's ace monsters into one deck. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with the deck profile. So for the actual ace monsters in the deck, I am running 2 Elemental Hero Neos and 2 Yubel. I feel this is all you need for the number of copies for both of these cards in the deck because we run Neos Fusion, which will send these cards from the main deck to the graveyard to summon out our main go-to ace monster, Elemental Hero Neos Kluger. If you run any more of these cards, they can become potential dead draws because you can normal summon them out by attributing monsters onto the field. It's just a little more difficult to do. And then you can summon out some of your other monsters using this card and Neos Kluger, which will include the next monster that we only run 1 copy of, being much more easier to summon out onto the field because of the play. But I think it's really cool that we finally got a proper fusion for the 2 in the deck in the form of this card. But like I said, you really only do need 2 copies of the deck in total. For the other card, we're running 1 Neos Wiseman. This card can be summoned out with Neos Kluger, ignoring its summoning condition. So you only really need the 1 copy. If you wanted to run a second copy, you could decrease the number of some of your Neospatians for this card. But with it, and since it can be special summoned out with this card, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. And also when it battles an opponent's monster at the end of damage step, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the attack of the monster battled, and then gain life points equal to its defense. So a 3,000 attack, 3,000 defense monster that is pretty much hard to get rid of on the field aside from attacking over it, but still a great way to utilize this card after your Neos Kluger leaves the field, summoning it onto the field from your hand or deck. So even if you draw into this card, you can still special summon it out thanks to your Neos Kluger. And along with 1 Neos Wiseman, I'm also running 1 Rainbow Dragon. Just like Neos Kluger, you can easily summon out Rainbow Neos from your extra deck by sending Neos and Rainbow Dragon to the graveyard from the deck, thanks to Neos Fusion. But once again, you only need 1. Any other ones, and it'd be a potential dead draw in your hand with this card. For some of the higher numbers for the cards we run the deck, I am running 3 Neospace Connector. This card can special summon out any of your Neospatians when it's normal summon, or even 1 Elemental Hero Neos to your field, and then you contribute this card to special summon 1 from your graveyard, giving you the 2 cards needed for your contact fusion thanks to just 1 card. It's really great late game after you use Neos Fusion to summon back the Neos you sent to the graveyard to make your Neos Kluger, because then you can use Neospace Connector to just summon out the Neospation you need from your deck onto the field also. I also run 3 Elemental Hero Honest Neos. Honest Neos is just good for the additional power-up they can give to cards like Neos Kluger for the additional attack damage against your opponent. I like running 3 for that heavy hit play because that's what a lot of this deck utilizes along with your Honest Neos and other cards like Favorite Hero in the deck altogether. For more search power for cards like Neos Fusion, I run 3 Keeper of Dragon Magic. When it's normal or special summon, you can discard 1 card to add 1 Polymerization or 1 normal fusion spell card from your deck to your hand, and you can reveal 1 fusion monster in your extra deck to special summon 1 of the fusion materials whose name is specifically listed on that monster from your graveyard. But you'll mostly use this card for the setup of getting Neos Fusion into your hand, but still being able to copy the name of that special summon monster is all the better with Keeper of Dragon Magic as well. And for the Neospatian monsters, I lowered the number of Neospatians we're running in the deck since I did want to focus on Yubel a little more in this deck altogether. So I run 1 of Grand Mole, Air Hummingbird, Flare Scarab, Dark Panther, and Aqua Dolphin altogether. I don't run Glowmoss just because I don't run any of the Contact Fusion cards for it. If you wanted to take out the Air Hummingbird, you would put in Glowmoss, but then you'd have to switch around some of the other cards we run in the extra deck that can summon out using Air Hummingbird for cards that would be used for Glowmoss instead. So remember that if you do decide to take that out. Or you can even just drop the Air Hummingbird and its other extra cards for a second copy of Neos Wiseman if you wish also. And that's it for the main deck monsters. We'll now move on to the spells. I run 3 Neos Fusion. You special summon 1 fusion monster from your extra deck that lists exactly 2 monsters as material, including Elemental Hero Neos, by sending those monsters from your hand, deck, or field, ignoring its summoning conditions. For the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters, and if a fusion monster you control that lists Elemental Hero Neos as material would be destroyed by battle or card effect, or shuffled into the extra deck, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So this is another way just to help for protecting your contact fusion monsters on the field, but also just being able to prevent your opponent from destroying Neos Kluger once on the field makes it all the scarier also. For more draw power in the deck, utilizing the Neospatians, I also run 3 Convert Contact. If you control no monsters, send 2 Neospatian monsters, 1 from your hand and 1 from your deck to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. Drawing into, I would say, more important monsters and spells thanks to this card, like Neos Fusion, or even the cards to search it out, like Keeper of Dragon Magic. You don't run as many Neospatians, but still there will come up the one you draw on hand and then the one you can make use of with your Convert Contact. And it's not a once per turn either, so if you draw into another Neospatian and another Convert Contact, you can just use them again, sending more and more to the graveyard, which can then also be recycled thanks to cards like Miracle Contact, which I'm also using 3 of, because you could set up Neos with your Yubel in the graveyard with Neos Fusion to summon out Kluger, but then shuffle them back into the deck to get out another Neospatian Elemental Hero Contact Fusion monster by shuffling them back and having this card count as the Contact Fusion play thanks to Miracle Contact. I also run 3 Favorite Hero. I really do like this spell with your Neos Kluger in the deck. You equip only to a level 5 or higher hero monster. If you control a card in your field zone, the equipped monster gains attack equal to its original defense. Also, your opponent cannot target it with card effects. And at the start of battle phase, if you can activate 1 field spell directly from your hand or deck, and you can only use this effect of Favorite Hero once per turn. And when the equipped monster attacks and destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can send this card to the graveyard. The attacking monster can make a second attack again in a row. So the big hit numbers you can do with Favorite Hero and setting up the field spell do come in handy with the Neospatian deck, focusing on one particular field spell, which we'll get to in just a second. With the one-ups for the spells, we're running 1 Neospace. This is the field spell I was talking about with your Favorite Hero. Setting this card up on the field, Elemental Hero Neos and all the fusion monsters that specifically list it gain 500 attack, and then they don't go back into the extra deck thanks to the Contact Fusion negative effect. So you only run the 1 though, because you can set it up on the field with your Favorite Hero and then just be ready to have a powered up arsenal of your Elemental Hero monsters on the field ready to use all together. Also the 1 Miracle Fusion for more fusion summoning plays from the extra deck using all of your different Elemental Hero monsters. And also the 1 Monster Reborn for special summoning cards like Neos back onto the field for you to make use of. And also the 1 Reinforcements of the Army for searching out cards like Neospace Connector to use onto the field. And then also the 1 Call by the Grave for the additional shutdown of your opponent's many different cards that they run in the field and graveyard to stop using this hand trap. And that is it for the spells. I'll now move on to the traps. I run 2 next. You special summon any number of monsters with different names from your hand and or graveyard in defense position that are all Neospatian or Elemental Hero Neos, but negate their effects. And as long as you control those special summon monsters, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except for fusion monsters. And you can activate 1 next per turn, but if you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. Being a card you can activate on the first turn from your hand just to give you resources is why I like running 3 of this card in the deck. It's just a great setup card for all your many different monsters to then contact fuse into. And that is it for the main deck. I'll now move on to the extra deck. I run 2 Elemental Hero Neos Kluger. You need 1 Neos and Yubel. It must be fusion summoned, and before damage calc, if it battles an opponent's monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to the monster's attack. And if this face-up card destroyed by battle or leaves the field, you can summon out the Neos Wiseman onto the field, ignoring its summoning condition. So pretty useful for summoning out the Wiseman, but also the burn damage and the fact that you can inflict even more to your opponent thanks to equipping it to Favorite Hero and then having additional attack on the field thanks to cards like your Neospace makes it all the scarier of a monster to go up against your opponent. If you have Honest Neos, all that damage together can really hit hard against your opponent and any card they may try to use against it. For more of the Neos fusion plays, I also run 2 Brave Neos. You just need a level 4 or lower effect monster, so any of the Neos patients can be used to summon this card out onto the field using Neos fusion quite easily, and giving you more of a search for a spell or trap that specifically lists Elemental Hero Neos as well to search out these cards. And I also run the 1 Rainbow Neos for the Rainbow Dragon play that we have in the deck. For more of the one-of contact fusion plays, I run 1 Aqua Neos, 1 Grand Neos, 1 Dark Neos, and 1 Flare Neos. If Air Hummingbird was more readily available, the card would be in the deck as well, and I would take out one of the additional 2 contact fusion monsters to make it, like Magma Neos, Nebula Neos, or Storm Neos. Or additionally, the Neos Knight, which I also run 1 of, would be another potential card to take out for the Air Neos, if you wanted to run it in the deck. And for additional plays, for the Miracle Fusion summon, I also run 1 Elemental Hero Gaia and the 1 Escuridao. The Escuridao especially because Yubel is a dark attribute monster, so you can banish it from the graveyard as one of the needed cards for something this card out onto the field. As for some of your go-to plays, if you set up your favorite hero and Neos Fusion in your hand, that could be enough to have one of the heavy hit plays in the deck. You activate the Neos Fusion to send from your main deck to the graveyard the 1 Yubel and the Neos to summon out your Neos Kluger onto the field, having both in the graveyard, and along with the additional protection of cards like Neos Fusion, you can then equip favorite hero onto it. And when Neos Kluger attacks your opponent, you can activate favorite hero, adding to the field zone the 1 Neo space, making it set up an additional 500 attack. And also for the fact that favorite hero, the equipped monster gains attack equal to its original defense, 2,500 attack, along with the Neo space, making 6,000 attack in total. And then with that, when it battles an opponent's monster, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to that opponent's monster's attack, having it so that if it does have that 2,000 damage, you have the additional swing with this card and the option to send favorite hero for your Neos Kluger to attack again, which can be enough damage right then and there to finish the game against your opponents. And then also, if this card does leave the field, just having the option to special summon out the Neos Wiseman onto the field as another monster that can do burn damage would potentially be enough to finish the game against your opponent right then and there. But that is it for the deck profile. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I'm very happy with the results of the deck. The Neos Kluger Yubel Neos deck is definitely a fun one that adds more of a flair to the Neos deck, which will see even more support in the upcoming future with the next main booster pack after Dimension Force, Power of the Elements. But until then, please don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and Kira Twig out.